Discussing it with us right now is Chris Stirewalt, the Fox News politics editor. And Chris, good to see you. Thanks for coming on the show. I'd like to go candidate by candidate, if that's okay with you, and start with Vice President Pence. And I've seen some of what you said and written the last couple of days in that the Trump-Pence ticket is obviously trailing in the polls. And if anything, the data shows us that, a Biden-Harris victory maybe has become more likely in this last week or so. So you've talked about changing the trajectory of a race. How might the vice president try to do that tonight, do you think?
Well, yeah, I mean, they're sucking wind. It's not good for them these days. And of course, the big problem is time is short. We're now tick, 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 and there's already been millions and millions and millions of votes already cast. And the window for change is narrowing. But Republicans are thinking about not only turning around the presidential race, but they're thinking about saving the Senate. Pence can do a lot for both of those things tonight. But what he has to do is change roles. So we know Pence, 4 years ago, he and Tim Kaine were like the battle of the mayonnaise sandwiches. Who could be a more reassuringly bland dad bod of a dude, right? Who is it that could be the most inoffensive possibly as Americans despaired at their presidential choices? This time around, he has got to be on the offensive, right? In our halftime report today, we talked about he's normally a fireman putting out the fires around Donald Trump. Pence has to be the arsonist this time, right? He's got to light the fire under Harris because the Republican strategy for trying to pull Trump back on board, but also trying to save the Senate is Biden is really just a front man for a very radical Democratic Party that is going to blow up your house and eat your children, just this monstrous thing that they're going to do. And that's why he's got to push her on the eliminating the filibuster in the Senate, packing the Supreme Court, the Green New Deal, go down the punch list litany to get voters thinking about, gosh, this isn't reassuring Joe Biden. This is radical left stuff. And that's what Pence has to do.
Yeah, I know. You notice one of his guests is one of the parents of an ISIS hostage, and I thought maybe that lends us a little bit of a hint at one of the lines that he might use tonight. And you brought up some others. Let me go to a tweet that came from Joe Biden's account a few minutes ago as we talk about Senator Harris. He tweets, folks, I know a thing or two about vice presidential debates. In 2008, I squared off against Governor Palin. In 2012, I called out Congressman Ryan's malarkey, and I know Kamala Harris will do a great job. And that's from Joe Biden. The one thing that's kind of, well, there were a lot of things, I guess, that stood out in that presidential debate. But one of the things that stood out from Biden's side is that you brought it up on the Supreme Court. He was asked directly and he's been asked directly since. And he's never answered that question, I don't believe, about would you pack the court? Would you pack the court? He just looks at the camera and says, I'm just not going to answer that. I wonder how Harris will handle that and other issues that you see as big challenges tonight.
So one of the problems for Harris is she has her own future to think of, right? She has 2024 to think of. There is no dissonance for Pence. He has to attack. He has to attack. And it's good for him now, and it's good for him in 2024. For Harris, she can't afford to completely alienate the left wing of her party in the same way that Joe Biden does now, right? So Biden now is like, forget about it. When it comes to defunding the police and packing the court and all that razzmatazz, Biden is unambiguous now that his lead is so large that they don't have much leverage over him anymore. But Harris has to think about how you win a Democratic primary, and you got to run through the left. Mm-hmm. So she is thinking of two things at the same time, which if you're Pence, if your opponent has if their movement is limited, then that's an advantage for you. And that's what Pence has got to do, is try to get in between her and Joe Biden and make her try to side with radical voices in her party on the progressive wing in order to preserve some credibility for herself. Because as we've heard, she is flexible ideologically.
That's a very nice way of saying it. But then the mayonnaise sandwich analogy was beautiful earlier as well. Really enjoyed that. Thank you, Chris. Good to see you. We'll watch tonight. Chris Stirewalt there on the VP debate.